Oulton Park. We come here twice because it's such a great track, and one that I know that you particularly like, James.
Yeah, I think James will say the same. Riders love the place, the crowd, the fans love the place. It's just a brilliant place to race bikes.
And talking about the Empire striking back then, James, how important is it for Shaky to pick up a result here? No podiums so far from the opening 2 rounds, and those Kawasaki's have started the season so strongly.
I think it's really important. I think it's a critical weekend for him. You know, already it's going to be a third of the way into the championship. Yeah, he hasn't had some good points. There's no podium credits. Yes, the new format, it does play into his hands there, but you know, he's going to want to get going. He's going to want to sort of start re-establishing himself. It's a very important weekend for Shaky.
Okay, get your insults and questions in then to James and James, as usual, on our Twitter handle at Eurosport_UK. We shall be with you throughout the rest of this bank holiday weekend. We've got a packed show for you tomorrow afternoon from 12:30, so plenty of time to get the thoughts of these two. And as James was saying before, this is one of the riders' favourite circuits, and any excuse for him to get the leathers back on and get back out and give us a lap.
Take a ride on the genuine adrenaline junkie wonder.
Oulton Park in leafy Cheshire is 2.69 miles of tarmac loveliness. I think most of the people in the BSB paddock would say it's their favourite track, and it used to be mine. I'm just about to find out if it still is.
Flying off of Oulton Park, start and finish, 150 miles an hour on a superbike. Back 2 gears to third gear. This is Old Hall. Apex it now, 90 miles an hour at the apex, hard on the power, over the curve, down the avenue. Steep down the hill now, back to the box, Cascades, where Apex, hard on the gas, the rear's digging in. This is Lakeside, in towards Ireland, back to about 100 miles an hour. Apex there, drift it out a bit to the right. Look at the camber on the hairpin. This is Shell Oils. Really holds your tight line as that camber, but it drops off there. Watch the rear for breaking loose. Again, up through the box. I'm not sure I'm used to 200 horsepower these days. Britain chicane, left, right, and then left again, over hilltop, the bike will wheelie. Here it comes, back on the floor. 150 miles an hour before braking hard. And back down through the box, second gear. This is his box chicane. Right, and then left, knee on the ground, and then right again. This is Knickerbrook. Watch the rear, not that camber. Hard on the gas. Clay Hill. Bike's going to wheelie. There you go. Hey, there you go. And in towards Druids. Well touch of the brake. Third gear, Druids 90 miles an hour. Double apex, big roller. Here's a roller. Wheelie again. Down the undulating straight. Last chance to pass, Lodge corner. Second gear, 55 miles an hour. Hit the apex, don't let it drift too far wide. And then Deer's leap again. And that is a flying lap of the sublime Oulton Park from the pilot seat. I enjoyed that.
Well, I tell you what, that was in part scary and loads of fun. I had that much fun there. I was that happy. I'm going to buy my own round tonight. But lots involved. There's lots of corners have so much camber, some have none at all. And it's a real challenge, but loads of fun. And it's one of those circuits that just keeps begging you in, and you just keep going faster and faster and faster. In my case, they pulled me off the track before something went wrong. That was brilliant.
It's brilliant to watch. You can really tell how much you enjoyed yourself out there.
Could have stayed out all day, honestly.
Well, although you would have had a hard job doing that, I would have expected, because it sounds like it was quite hard work. Because we're a little bit out of breath there. You don't get much. Oh, was it?
Still got the magic.
Well, you don't get any chance to rest, it seems, around this circuit.
At all.
How much did you like this track, James? And how long did it take you to properly learn it and get to grips with it? Because it just seemed to me there that there's so much to kind of take into consideration with the camber.
No. At the end of the
You
day,
crashed on the fifth one, did you?
At the end of the day, it's one of those tracks. I used to love it as well. I mean, it's so challenging. There's a little bit of everything, and it's a track you also get in some places really get an idea of the speed you're doing. Lots of rises, change of camber, and it's a great track. But it is a track that you build into and make away at.
Well, one man who loves it here at Oulton Park and has been really fast here throughout his career and since coming back to British Superbikes is Leon Haslam. And as a circuit, how much did you miss it when you were away, and how much did you enjoy coming back here? Because you got straight back on the pace last year as soon as you came back.
Yeah, it's as Jamie and James just mentioned, it's one of them circuits that's so fast and flowing, and I think your full throttle maybe only 7 seconds out of a minute 40, so you're always playing with a wheelie or a spin, and there's crests and holes, and yeah, it's a mega enjoyable track when you've got that feeling, and yeah, it's been nice to come back to.
It produces close racing as well, doesn't it? It was one of those circuits when you came back from the World Championship where people sort of said, how is he going to adapt to, because you don't get many tracks like this on the world stage that create, well, such close racing too, so narrow.
Yeah, for me the biggest thing was obviously adapting myself back to the track on how to ride it, but the biggest one was no anti-wheelie, no traction control. You know, I can remember riding here on the Airwaves Ducati and I was full gas over the hills with anti-wheelie and traction control, and this time I was thinking I was on a different bike altogether. I was wheeling, it was spinning, it was moving, and after them few laps and a few sessions you realise that where to shut off, where to get on the gas, and like you say, it's more of a rhythm.
Well, quick times though here so far this weekend, Leon. I mean, you must be pleased with how you're going.
Yeah, pace was good from the test. We've done a lot of experimenting, mainly on the hard tyre. We did a 34 flat yesterday, but we lost nearly 3/10 just in the first sector to myself. So, the first sector's been the one that we're working on myself and the setting, but the rest of the lap we're feeling pretty confident.
Thanks, Leon. We'll let you get back. I know you've got preparations to do now with qualifying on the way in a few minutes' time, but James is actually already in his garage with his teammate Luke Mossey.
Yeah, Luke, I have to say, before we start talking about what's happening here at Oulton Park, you've hit the big time now, because the whole opener of our show is all the Luke Skywalker bit. It's really good. You need to see it when you get back to Upland.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I was talking to Jack earlier and I'm still peaking. I spoke to you on Friday as well. I'm still peaking from Brands Hatch, so I'm just living the dream, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Dragged a bit of the confidence on, because it looks like you have.
I hope so. I feel good this weekend. We haven't actually put us off the soft tyre in yet this weekend. We've just done our race runs on the one, and I'm feeling good. So we haven't actually gone out for an outright lap time. So we're still 5th overall in practice, and yeah, as long as we're in the first 2 rows, we're going to be thereabouts in the race. So yeah, I'm feeling good.
How difficult physically is this place to ride? It was difficult in my day with about 160 horsepower. Now, just on the stocker that went out to do the lap, it's hard work.
It's not as hard as Brands Indy, though. Do you know what I mean? But no, it's on the first session on Saturday morning. I sort of wore myself out in 3 laps because I was over trying. Here it's one of the places, it's weird, you need to sort of stay relaxed to go fast. If you try too hard, it's just you knacker yourself out within a couple of laps. So, it's got to keep a cool head, and 18 laps around is a long way, so it's going to be a long, an interesting race as well.
You'll get prepping, good luck.
Cheers, mate, thank you.
And I believe Matt's got another young rider, Glenn Irwin.
I do, yeah. Could you see me from just down there? Yes, I do. And like Luke Mossey, Glenn now really starting to break through into British Superbikes. Of course, you race with Luke in the Super Sports, so you know exactly what the level is now. And I guess that's what you're aspiring to, is doing what Luke's done.
Yeah, it's Luke's a great example, for one of the more inexperienced riders. I'm always a year behind him in terms of Super Sport. He had a year on me there, and he's a year on me here. But yeah, I think we're going to end up quite close. Hopefully, before I need that extra year. It's good. He got a great double last week. I felt strong before I crashed out, and we've still got the old guard in there as well. So it's a healthy championship at the minute, and loving it. Yeah, you had a good weekend at Brands Hatch, apart from the crash there, and you've carried that form here to Oulton as well. You were fastest on Friday morning, or Saturday morning, I should say, and also I think 6th quickest overall yesterday afternoon. Yeah, it's been good. We missed the test here, with a flight sort of mishap last week. I was at my brother's wedding, and the top of the first session back was really unexpected. And yeah, I think we've been 1st, 7th, and 4th over the practice session. So we're not a fluke anymore. I feel like I belong here now, and I'm really enjoying being part of the front of the races and pulling moves on the big names, because I like that. Enjoy that side of racing. It's good crack.
And aiming to get into that Q3 now then this afternoon.
Oh, definitely. But it's been a little bit of a boogie thing, but went to one of them head doctors through the week there, so that's, he's done his job right with being Q3. Hopefully on pole.
Good luck, Glenn. Cheers.
Cheers, thank you, mate. Thanks.
Okay, let's get back to it.
Yeah, cheers, Matt. Josh, you're back and going good. Buoyant start to the season, I would say.
Yeah, I still feel like there's a lot more to come. You know, I don't feel satisfied that we've reached the potential of what we can achieve at all. So, yeah, just chipping away. We've got to focus on making marginal gains. You know, we're very close, but in racing, a small amount feels like a long way, but sometimes you got to keep focused on the fact that we're all going really quick, and we just got to make little steps, and all of a sudden you'll be there.
I was just going to say the difference from when you won the championship, I think, is the fast men are still the fast men, and you're one of those. But you don't have to be too far off your own pace for a setup issue or whatever to look like things aren't going so well. It's competitive, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the same for the mechanics, the team, the personnel. Everybody sort of feels like as soon as you're not P1 or 2 or 3 sort of thing, you feel like you're off the end of the world, and you want to be back up there. But really, the grid's so compact that you've only got to be a couple of tenths off your best, and it looks like you're, as you said, a long way down the grid. But even so, there's a lot of areas that I know we can improve the bike, and I'm just trying to work through it step by step, and not try and achieve too much too quick.
Well, we've enjoyed seeing you back at the front. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, mate.
Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, thanks, James. Yeah, of course, Josh, one of several guys with good form around this circuit. Of course, we raced here that many times. There's plenty of them, James. 50-50 chance of rain now for qualifying. That would throw a bit of a spanner in the works, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would too, but I just think with a little bit of breeze, I think that's just going to keep shifting along. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, okay. So what do you make of the way the championship shaped up then over the first couple of rounds? As I said to Whit before, them two Kawasaki's have started off so strongly, and the gauntlet has kind of been laid down now to everybody else.
Very much. I mean, they put the mark in the sand. They look really, really good on the bikes. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what the Scotty boys can do here, whether Shaky can step up. Obviously Josh Brooks, he's gone really well around here in the past, so we'll see them. But the other main one, Ellison, he was so close to Brands. It just it looked like he was going to do it. Qualified on pole, 2 poles, fastest lap in every session, and then it didn't go his way. So can he do anything here?
Well, we're going to find out very shortly, because qualifying is on the way. As you can hear, the bikes have been fired up behind me. There's Shaky's Panigale getting ready to go. And coming up after the break, we will have qualifying for the BSB class. See you in a couple of minutes.
Well, looks like something's slowing you down. Whoa! Could be your engine clogging up with dirt. BP Ultimate with active technology removes dirt to help your engine perform at its best, so you can keep moving just like these guys. Keep moving with BP Ultimate.
Right now is a great time to join BT Mobile. It starts from just £5 a month if you've got BT broadband at home. And you can get online with fast 4G and Wi-Fi hotspots in more places than any other mobile provider. You can get 500 megabytes of data with our great value starter plan for just £5 a month. If you need more, our perfect all-rounder SIM has 2 gigabytes of data for £10 a month. Or get our Ultimate SIM with a huge 15 gigabytes of data for just £20 a month. Anyone can get a great deal with BT Mobile. With a great range of SIM-only plans to choose from, you're bound to find the right one for you. Call 0800 456 1456 or visit bt.com/SIM-only.
The Eve mattress with next-generation memory foam. If we were really confident, we'd
Then, as you can see, to take part in this Q1 session for the 3rd round of the MCE British Superbike Championship. There goes Shane Byrne, there goes Christian Idden. So let's cross to the commentary box and join James Whittam and Jack Bernicle.
Having thoroughly enjoyed spring sunshine for most of the day, we now find our 2.692 mile in the heartlands of Cheshire overcast and with a slight threat of rain in the air. Hence the fact that qualifying 3 won't be Super Pole. It'll be an 8-minute straight session involving 9 remaining riders. 21 riders have been victorious here at Oulton Park during the years of the British Superbike Championship. Running only superbikes. Philip Neal there having a quiet smile to himself on the team owner at the Tyco BMW squad. This is one of them, Josh Brooks. 21 in all, and the guys out on track right now who have won races here, Tommy Bridewell, James Ellison, John Hopkins, Michael Laverty, Josh Brooks 4 times, Leon Haslam 5, and Shaky Byrne 10. Shaky first did the double here back in 2003 on the way to his first championship. But remember, Leon Haslam victorious in 4 of the 5 races that were run here last year, and he's the guy who's gone under that lap record and is edged himself to within a glimmer of breaking the 1-minute 34-second barrier.
Is it a barrier?
Sorry, only figuratively speaking. I don't think there's anything out there that he's going to smash his way through, and it would be quite entertaining if he did. This is Josh Brooks then on the Anvil Hire Tank Racing Yamaha on that beautiful yellow and black outfit that road race folk would refer to as being the Kenny Roberts colours. Josh himself refers to as being the Ricky Johnson colours from Yamaha USA factory motocrosses of the early 80s.
Yeah, well, it was a 70s road races Yamahas that were always that colour. And I always thought it was because it was sponsored at the time, as was Kenny Roberts, by PJ1 Oil. That's their corporate colours. However, I got slated on social media saying that Yamaha, their factory colours and brochure colours in America were always black and yellow, apparently.
That's what I always thought, naively, yes. Josh Brooks, incidentally, is with it, despite what he describes as a relatively modest start to the season, lies in 4th place at the moment on 48 points. Haslam and Mossy, the guys who've shared the spoils so far, lead the way. And, of course, these Hondas of number 4, Dan Linfoot, number 22, Jason O'Halloran and Linfoot, 7th and 8th in the championship at the moment. So they are hovering just outside that showdown top 6.
Yeah, and if you saw Linfoot and O'Halloran, who are really keen to get out behind Josh Brooks, because Josh's MO by now, as does everybody else on the grid. He gets out first and he doesn't muck about. He gets some quick laps in, he gets a banker, as what you call it, as a lap, and they were keen to follow him.
And Leon Haslam's got a banker in straight away. There's Mr. O'Halloran there on that the old show in the background, and that's Javier Beltran, his team manager, there in picture. Pete Extons. Oh, can we wish a 21st birthday greetings to Pete's son Dale Extons, turned 21 on Wednesday. Hope you've recovered from that, Dale, and are enjoying your racing weekend. So Haslam and Mossy already establishing a JG Speedfit 1-2 here, 134.6, 135.1. The wind, according to Christian Idden, who I spoke to earlier, as we watch Ellison and number 77 and number 67, the red Ducati of Shaky Byrne, going through Old Hall Corner. The wind's tending to affect them, particularly going around the section from Druids through to Lodge Corner, tending to kind of lift them up and push them around.
That's kind of unusual because that's right in the trees. It depends where the wind's coming from, but if it's coming from either side, the trees block that. It must be coming from sort of head on or behind, I'm guessing.
Well, it's kind of front 3/4.
Yeah, okay.
Idden, who we're looking at the moment, currently in 4th place, Brooks in 5th. So Christian Idden, what he's finding, James, he says the bike just doesn't feel underneath him at the moment, and he can manage to throw in a fast lap, but he's worried a bit about race distance.
Yeah, and he says he just doesn't feel like he can push it to the bike's limit. He says he just feels like he's hampered a little bit, which was unusual because he says at Brands Hatch the bike was perfect, and he thought, right, we're on it now, we'll get to Oulton Park and we'll have a benchmark and we'll go, and he says it just isn't, it doesn't seem the same bike.
He has a new teammate, of course, this weekend, just for this weekend. Davide Giuliano injured, and in steps Alistair Seeley, who's going to be riding the Tyco BMW Superbike the week after next in the Northwest 200 road races in Northern Ireland. And he is already, of course, the man who's won more races there than any other. He's surpassed the Dunlop family record of 15 and has moved on to 17 wins, and he's out here on the Tyco BMW, the wee wizard, currently in 13th place on the 2nd Tyco BMW, getting himself warmed up for the Northwest.
Yeah, I tell you, he's doing a good job, on the bike.
Idden's just gone 3rd. Yeah, Christian said to me that Seeley's doing a nice job on the BMW.
Good lap from Idden, that.
And there is Alistair Seeley coming out onto track. So the tiny little, they're of course taking a break until Snetterton from racing the Spirit Motor 2 bike in the Super Sport class. So that frees him up to, I beg your pardon, he's just rolling around the place at the moment, taking the chicane route at the Hizzy chicane at Knickerbrook. Paul Bird, belated happy 50th. The Birdman. It was the Tuesday after Brands Hatch that Paul Bird turned 50, and he's not taken it well, it has to be said. I've had to try and cheer him up a bit.
Does anybody take it well? I'm a bit upset myself.
So at the moment it's Haslam, Mossey, Idden, Brooks, Byrne, Hickman, O'Halloran. Remember, 18 riders transfer through. We're watching Bradley Ray, the young man who's finally been secured after 3 years of trying by the elder statesman of the team owners here, Stuart Hicken at build-based Suzuki. So what he's done is run a separate garage to fit this lad in alongside the Bennett Suzuki.
Yeah, I've chatted with Stuart, and he's really, really pleased with the way the lad not only going on the bike, but his approach and his feedback, and he says he's just a good lad to work with.
His time at the moment, 136.327, puts him about a tenth and a half outside John Hopkins. Hopkins, who's been fast all weekend on the Moto Rapido Ducati, just struggling a little bit at the moment. And the moment I say that, he might have just thrown in a time. He has. He's leapt to 6th place. So Hopper does a 135.2, which puts him well inside the top 18. Shaky Byrne. So Brad Ray, make that 28. How are we supposed to read a number like that? I'm going to have to have a word with young Hicken. Bradley Ray, number 28, his traditional number 28, has slipped to 19th place behind Lee Bob Jackson on the Smiths Racing BMW. Ray crosses the line and has he jumped to 8th? Wow, what a lap. Brad Ray, 135.22, a tenth of a second outside the time set by Josh Brooks. So there's an example of the kid's skill. Meanwhile, in the Bennett Suzuki camp, with the garage next door, this is Taylor Mackenzie. Mackenzie at the moment is in 22nd place. He's got 9.5 minutes in which to try and ease himself into the top 18. Yeah, Taylor Vespa is reasonably happy with the way his season's going. He said Donington wants a good, slid off twice, but overall he said the bike is coming along. It's obviously in the real early stages of development. It's that brand new GSX 1000 Suzuki. Well, into a superbike, it's flying in super stock straight out of the box, but to make it into a superbike, there's a little bit of time required, and they're just in the middle of that. Oh, God. I was just going to say, Lee Jackson looking a bit more like his own self, and he nearly tips himself inside there. He's in 19th place on the second of the Smiths Racing BMWs. Hasn't scored a point yet, the young Lincolnshire plumber. He needs a day to brighten, a weekend to brighten his horizons right now. So Haslam, Byrne, Mossey. James, one of the things I was asking you this morning was the way that Richard Cooper has suddenly stamped his authority initially on the Superstock National Championship, and yet the Suzukis are struggling a bit in the same garage to get the superbike sorted out. How big is that? We're looking at Luke Mossey relaxing in his garage, of course. How big is the difference between sorting out a superbike and a superstock machine? Why should the one be so much further ahead than the other?
Because the regulations for superbike are a lot more open in respect of swing arms, also what you can do to the chassis. They've got more power, and so basically to get them right and getting them right on the pace of the people who have got them right, there's a little bit of time and a little bit of setup. They're not. You just need to get the bike working with you. Where the stocker, they're all just about the same. You've got to use all the standard stuff. It's basically a bike you can buy and run on the road, so there isn't a lot you can get wrong.
One of the things that interests me here is that the differences in lap times sometimes are fairly marginal between stock, between super stock down and super. Like here, it's 3 seconds.
Yeah, that depends on the circuit, obviously. But in actual fact, if an average rider will go just about as quick on a stocker because he won't be able to get the best out of a superbike. The top riders will get the superbikes working and will go quicker than they would on a stocker.
This is Billy Skippy McConnell. He's riding for the FS3 Quattro Plant team. So we've got Haslam, Byrne, Mossy at the top. Idden is in fourth. Hickman's looking good on the leading Smith's BMW. Billy McConnell is in sixth place. Terrific lap by the former Supersport champion, ahead of Hopkins, Brooks, Bradley Ray, James Ellison, Jake Dixon, who's got a new crew chief this year. Would you believe? Welcome aboard, Glenn Richards, former National Superstock Thou and British Supersport champion. He said, what a massive learning curve. He said, I know about quite a bit about suspension and stuff, but electronics, I'm having to learn an awful lot very fast.
Yeah, I chatted with him yesterday, Glenn, and he said he's working really quite well with Jake. Quite likes the kind of his fresh attitude, and he's quite cocky, he says, but we know that anyway.
We're looking at, we were looking briefly there at Michael Laverty. This is number 4, Dan Linfoot, followed by number 6, Taylor McKenzie. Linfoot in 15th place, McKenzie with work to do in 22nd. So the Honda Fireblade comes hoofing it there, uphill out of Deer Leap, gets a bit of a twitch over that. Do you know, when we were standing on track at the lip of Deer Leap, looking along the start straight, it's a hilarious sight. It's neither straight nor flat. It's got this huge crest in the middle of it.
Jack, there isn't any part of this Oulton Park circuit that is either of those things.
And that must make it, the fact that we're touching 150 miles an hour on 5 separate parts of the track, means that the concentration levels, the bumpiness of the place, and the fact that it deviates all the time.
Going into Island Bend, where we've just seen the riders go in the fast left hand about 100 miles an hour on a superbike. Going into that, there's 2 huge rollers that unloads the suspension, it loads it again. In between that, you've got to get it slowed down and get it down the gearbox. There's so much going on around here to ride a bike quickly.
So Linfoot at the moment in 15th place. Gwynterly is in 16th place. Jakob Smertz, very much the local event for the PR racing team, of course, because they're based in the Baltic Triangle in the middle of Liverpool, very trendy part of Liverpool. He's lying 17th. Seeley is 18th and therefore is on for Q2, whereas Jackson, Michael Laverty, now there's a surprise. Laverty, a former race winner around here, languishes in 20th place on the McCann's Yamaha. Coming out of Druids underneath the footbridge. And at the moment, everybody's sitting in the pit, except Christian Idden's gone out, Jake Dixon's out there. We've got a fall, and that might even... Is that James Ellison?
I think it is. And that looks like Cascades to me. If it is, that is a really fast crash. Yeah.
Oh, is that Laverty?
That's Laverty.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness me. Well, what a brave cameraman we've got down there. Take your hats off to him. That is some... that bike's destroyed, isn't it? Oh, well,
that's
there too.
Yeah.
Is that like...
It's Alex, our cameraman down there.
Well, I'm just getting over that. So that's bad news then for McCann's Yamaha and for Michael Laverty, because... That's no chance of... well done, young man. Well done. Alex, hats off to you, mate. We're over here. You're waving the wrong way. Well done. Brilliant image. Well captured.
I'll tell you what, he's a brave lad.
Yes, but
actually.
The only man who's not going to appreciate that is Michael Laverty. That young man certainly does, Luke Mossy. But look at this. Oh, dear me. Oh my God, James, there's not going to be a lot left they can use for the rest of the weekend from that. I would have thought.
I don't know. I think the chassis is going to be straight. The bits that stick out have torn off.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, really. All the bits that go on the chassis
might make that go again.
We're looking at number 14, Martin Jessup. Jessup at the moment is in 21st place. Laverty, of course, has exited spectacularly from just ahead of him.
Jessup probably not going as well in BSB as what he has done. He's run as high as 6th to 7th in past years. However, the man is a genuine all-rounder. He can ride any kind of bike. Really quick motocrosser. To almost national standard, apparently. He's a good road racer. He does Macau and wins there. He does the Northwest TTs, 130 mile an hour plus, man. And he loves his bikes. You can't stop him doing it.
And probably he rides for Riders Motorcycles, his dad's company.
Yep. Also does a lot of kick, but he does this mixed martial arts, you know.
Oh, does he really?
Oh, it's frightening. Yes.
I did. That's interesting, because I've always thought, polite lad that he is, I've always thought there was a slightly scary air about it.
Polite to a point, I think. You won't want to nick his pint, I know that.
Oh, and we've just heard that Martin Jessup was suffering a bit from sciatica, which is unpleasant, because if you remember, he didn't turn up at Brands Hatch, so yeah, that's understandable. It looks like Jakob Kuba-Smerts has qualified in 18th place. Lee Jackson is 19th. Laverty, unfortunately and spectacularly, as 20th. And Lee Jackson's still out there. Lee Jackson is still out there trying to put a time in. Here he is. Little Lee Bob on the Smiths Racing BMW. He's got to start finding his form again at some point. But these BMWs are a handful round here, James.
Yeah, they do seem to be, you know. I was chatting with Christian Hidden. He said they thought they got the bike well sorted at Brands Hatch. They thought, therefore, they'd got a base set in it. It was just a case of cut with a really nice kind of starting point, and then just clickers either way, maybe a spring change, and they'd be right on the money, and it just hasn't happened. They say it's difficult to ride.
You'll notice that behind Lee Bob is the pale blue motorcycle of Jakob Smerts, the Lloyd & Jones PR Racing BMW. So both of them out there.
It was behind him. Jakob went straight on down at Islops there.
Okay.
From that little bit of extra track. There is the old track.
It's down to Jacko to match 135.94. There's nothing Kuba can do about it now. Well, 135.741, he's done it.
Done it just.
Jakob Smerts has run straight on and cost himself a place in Q2 when he was right behind Jackson.
He's got more chance.
So, James Ellison, number 77. Let's check out what's going to happen. Well, let's see if, in fact, Kuba Smerts can get round and fit another lap in, of course, because he's just dropped out of that top 18. So, at the moment, Jackson is on 135.741, 135.94 for this man in a beautiful powder blue Lloyd & Jones PR Racing BMW. What can the veteran former World Superbike contender do? The man from the Czech Republic, whose brother Matt Edge is competing for the same team in the Super Stock National Championship. And we've got James Westmoreland out there as well, also trying to improve on the gearling. Kawasaki, there he is, flashing into view over the hilltop.
Quick lap for Kuba, this one, it looks on the money.
So if Kuba can keep this going, right, he'd come now. Look at this, Clay Hill, assaults Clay Hill, top side of 150 miles per hour over the crest. These places used to be, I mean, we still are surrounded by trees, but not quite right on the ring side as they used to be back in the day. Underneath the bridge, howling again, touching 150 before he has to anchor the whole thing up. Look at it, throwing his head back as he drops into Lodge Corner, right beside the Lodge entrance to the old Oulton Hall, and then charges out of Daly. 135.741 to beat, and he gets a 135.513, and that is Smerts goes 14th. Linfoot's in the drop zone now. Linfoot I thought was in the drop zone, according to, Linfoot is 18th, 135.59, so you were right, James. Great lap by Smerts, puts him 14th ahead of O'Halloran. That's great for the local team to be able to do that. This is Jason O'Halloran. So he has qualified, as has, though only just, his Honda teammate. Wow, so Haslam, Byrne, Mossy at the top, Iden, Hickman looking strong again, and Billy McConnell. Great ride by Billy McConnell to net a 135.1 ahead of Hopkins, Brooks, Bradley Ray, and Alistair Seeley and Jake Dixon, 10th and 11th, ahead of James Ellison in 12th. So we're going to lose Lee Jackson, only just. Lee Jackson, James Westmoreland, Laverty, big time, Jessup, Mackenzie, Michael Dunlop, Aaron Zanotti, and Sean Winfield. So let's check out the results of the first qualifying session here at the British Superbike Championship round 3 at Oulton Park. Leon Haslam 134.65, didn't need to go as fast as he did yesterday, 6/10 slower. Shane Burns second ahead of Luke Mossy and Christian Iden. Peter Hickman, Billy McConnell, John Hopkins, Josh Brooks, and two surprises if you like, Bradley Ray and Alistair Seeley in the top 10. Seeley looking good, rapidly reacquainted with the Tyco BMW. Jake Dixon with Glenn Richards learning the trade as his crew chief in 11th place ahead of Ellison, Bridewell, Smertz, O'Halloran, Irwin, Gwinterly and Linfoot. So just outside qualifying for Q2, Lee Jackson, James Westmoreland, Michael Laverty, Jessup, Mackenzie, Dunlop, Zanotti and Winfield.
Yeah, really positive session that for Billy McConnell. Billy, tell us about your lap.
Yeah, it's you know, big shout out to the Quattro FS3 Kawasaki team. We've had a little bit of up and down start to the season. You know, we've sort of trying to build back up on our confidence after the 2 knocks from Donington, and the team's, you know, working with me, and we're working quite strongly. I was pretty lucky then. I just ended up all weekend. I've been on my own, and just got a. Literally, Leon got in my lap, in my way, just on one of my fastest laps, which was pretty much no good. So I let him back through, and then got a toe off him, and it worked out in my favour. So got a good lap there, and yeah, got down to 35.1, so which is good. But worst thing is, yeah, all good, clapping and all that. But now I've got to go out and try to do it again. So no, team's working good. We're just trying to build away at it, and hopefully we can get up there again in this one.
You've done it once. I'm sure you can do it again, Billy. Good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. So, Billy McConnell then, one of the riders who will be going through to Q2, which is coming up in just 3 minutes' time. So we'll take a quick break and join us when we come back.
Here are a few of the amazing things you get with BT Broadband. You'll get a welcome discount of over 25%. You'll get a super reliable Wi-Fi connection for all your devices. And when you're out and about, you'll get free access to over 5 million Wi-Fi hotspots. It's $29.99 a month for unlimited broadband, including line rental on a 12-month contract. And if you join online before the 4th of May, we'll also give you a £50 reward card to spend. Unlimited BT broadband with a welcome discount of over 25%. Call 0800 55 2211 or visit bt.com/deals.
And that's why they call me the parking master.
Drivers win at Confused.com. #1 for car savings.
What's not to love about a Crocodile garage door? Designed to add style, security, and even value to your home. Call Crocodile on 08000 11 2234 and find out just how quick and simple they are to install. You'll love their neat, space-saving design. And it's a doddle to use. But you know what I love? The craftsmanship. It's cracking. It's Crocodile style.
It's all about footwork. That's why I wear Skechers with air-cooled memory foam. They look great, they feel great.
Skechers with air-cooled memory foam.
Easy. For a chance to ride with the Ice Kid, go to courselight.co.uk. Course Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Well, here at Oulton Park, there's been drama already in qualifying, not least for our cameraman Alex there, who you could see was narrowly able to avoid that bike of Michael Laverty, and Michael was able to get back to his feet as well, importantly. So well done to Alex for getting out of the way. Well done to Gary, the spotter and paramedic, who was down there to pull him out of the way as well. Unfortunately, the bike didn't escape unharmed, although that was the least of the worries, wasn't it, in a situation like that? And there it is, the mangled R1 of Michael Laverty coming back, and clearly he will not be taking any further part in this qualifying session now, as the top 18 riders go through to Q2 and the bikes head out onto the track. James and Jack are in the commentary box.
Well, coming out onto this this track that was extended within a year of early in August 1954 for the first ever international meeting, which was the Oulton Park Formula 1 Gold Cup, won by a certain Sterling Moss in a 250F Maserati, a beautiful Italian motor car that James Whittam's had the great pleasure of sitting in, which I'm deeply envious about.
Yeah, it's in your collection, not 20 miles from actually where we sat now.
honestly.
Oh, that close?
Yeah.
Oh, well, can I put a message out? I'd like to sit in it, please.
It smells like bad leather.
Well, they used to kit them out properly in those days.
Yeah.
It will be proper, genuine leather. Shaky Byrne comes out for Q2. And it's always entertaining, isn't it, that Shaky is usually the last one out. Josh Brooks, for so long, his keen rival, is always the first one out. So the Ducati, it was interesting hearing you and I'm myself. I introduced him to someone only an hour ago as an 11th-time British champion. No, 12. He said 12 times British champion. Roger Marshall, you and he had both spotted how hard a work the BY's Ducati was for Shaky Byrne to get round this track, to manhandle round this track, that it's quite a handful going through the bends.
Yeah, in that it looked fairly stiff in its setup, quite unforgiving, that's all. I mean, but that is all about setup and getting a bike that you're comfortable with. But it didn't look the easiest bike to ride round.
I liked his response to that was, well, this isn't supposed to be easy, is it? Otherwise everybody could do it.
That's what he said, yeah.
So Leon Haslam then leads this particular group. Remember, we've got 18 riders out on track. Actually, only 17 at the moment have emerged onto the Oulton Park circuit. And you can see, a bit of a front-end wobble there going down into Cascades for Christian Itten. And Haslam decides he doesn't want that train of people trying to fish a time from him.
That's exactly what he's done. He's seen who's behind him and thought, you know what, I'll just find myself a bit of track space here. Leon's really comfortable in his life at the minute. I was trials riding with him up in Derbyshire on Wednesday, and he's just as settled as you would be when things are going his way. Leads a championship and everything in his life's going fairly well for young Haslam at the minute.
Well, he's got two lovely kids. The family life is obviously in good nick as we watch Christian Itten. At the moment, Christian Itten is attempting to set the pace here. As I said, he says that the one lap is not a bad feature of the Tyco BMW. It's going on a bit longer than that, sustaining the pace that's the problem at the moment. But as he steams off up Clay Hill, he's opened up a little bit of a gap on his pursuers, led by Billy McConnell on the Quattro Plant FS3 bike number 3.
Christian's another really balanced, intelligent lad. He instructs me a little bit, and just a nice kid. Really takes his training seriously. Doesn't really have to work now, but he wants to work, so he does all sorts of tyre fitting and groundwork, and he just likes to get stuck in and fill his time with something. But does a lot of training. He's actually cycled here for the weekend from home, about 80 miles, he reckons.
134.9, he sets the initial benchmark. Glenn Irwin in second, Brooks in third, Hickman, Linfoot, Bridewell and Brad Ray are the top 7, McConnell in 8th place. Shaky Byrne here hasn't yet set a time and is looking quite relaxed about things at this moment. John Hopkins, so there's two behind him. There's two Ducatis rumbling up Clay Hill together there, preparing for a fast lap. Hopkins looking, I like the way that Hopper looked back over his shoulder at the same time as Shaky does, as if he was pretending not to be there, and then he's going to tag on when they hit the fast lap.
With lots of things, but not invisible.
Tommy Bridewell, a former race winner here, remember. So what can he do with the WD-40 Kawasaki? Bridewell looking quite smooth. He's immensely not changeable, but a lot depends on what's going on in Tommy's head. If he's feeling comfortable with himself, with his motorbike, with the general way of life and the way things are going, he's blooming quick.
He's always been quick. That's Tommy, if things are right for him.
So as he goes swooping off up Clay Hill, you can already see the marker that sets the fact that we've rather ruthlessly chopped 18 riders down to 9. And look at this, he's 3800ths underneath the fastest lap so far, and that's been set by Christian Itten. So this is a promising lap then by WD-40 Kawasaki's number 46, Tommy Bridewell, in those distinctive blue and yellow colours. Dives down through the final turn at Lodge Corner, then storms out of Deer Leap. Here he comes across the finishing line, and he ends up in 5th place. Haslam's gone quickest. Irwin goes second. Halloran sticks the Honda into 3rd ahead of Hickman. Jake Dixon on the RAF Reserves number 27 Kawasaki, and that is ahead of Brooks, Iden, and you can see how competitive it suddenly becomes, because Bridewell's already dispatched back to 8th place, McConnell 9th.
Yeah, Halloran did that lap right behind Dixon. Dixon's going well. Dixon's getting to grips with the bike on this circuit really well this weekend.
And look, the Shaky Byrne, of course, isn't yet in amongst that group. This is his first fast lap.
But just watch the bike. Did you see it coming out of Druids over that? There's a big roller there where the whole bike goes light, and you have to be really careful what you're doing with the throttle because you've not as much grip. And just there, did you see it just had a little bit of a go at stepping out? And it's subtle to watch, but you can tell that it's just not so easy. Quite bumpy in places around Oulton, and it doesn't look the easiest thing to ride.
He's gone second, though. That's the hard work pays off as one of the Bennett Suzukis comes into the pit. That, of course, will be the former World Superbike champion Sylvain Guintoli, who's currently in 15th place. His teammate Taylor Mackenzie didn't make it through to qualifying 2. There's only just under 6 minutes to go, so it's a short, sharp session. Short, sharp session. This is the surviving McCann's Yamaha of James Ellison. Oh, what a beautiful noise.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
So Ellison, let's see what the first split does for Ellison, who's currently just come out. He's in 18th place and he's plus 0.45. So his first quick lap isn't probably going to be... what's 9th quickest? 134.9 is 0.6 of a second off Haslam's top time. So this is going to need to be a quicker time than this, I would suspect, from Ellison to get into that top 9. So the 36-year-old Cumbrian launches across the top of Clay Hill. All this part, the configuration of all this part of the track is absolutely identical to that very first ribbon of tarmac that was used in 1953 when the first races took place under the auspices of the Wirral 100 Club.
Yeah, there's tons of things happened at this place for years and years. The actual Oulton Hall, which is just if James Ellison kept going instead of turning right at Old Hall Corner, was built right there. That burned down in 1926, and then the whole part fell into kind of disrepair and was used by the American Army during the Second World War, apparently, for storing things.
Yes. Storing things.
I've been hanging about with you that long, Jack. I've started coming out with twaddle of history.
Well, I'm sorry. I can take it one stage further. General Patton was here with his mob before they went off for the Normandy landings, wasn't he? Yeah. So here we go. We're watching Bradley Ray, the familiar figure of that blotched red number 2. That red block on the front says 28. And this is Bradley Ray trying to improve and get himself into that top 9. Christian Idden, 134.991 is the target. Oh, this could be a good lap from Bradley Ray. How far is it to the finishing line? Oh, not quite. 35.09. Very, very close. He's got to nip under that 135 if he's to get into qualifying 3. I'm talking as if he ought to, and this is a young lad who's just stepped onto a superbike for the first time.
Yeah, Bradley Ray understands what this year is all about. It's about learning the trade, learning how to set a superbike up, and there's no real pressure. And I don't want to jinx him, but he doesn't look too out of shape at the minute.
Here's James Ellison, who's also looking to get into that top group. He's currently in 17th place as the Yamaha barks out of Druids and then swoops underneath the footbridge. And now, once again, same target time, Idden's 134.991. And Idden at the moment is in the pits, which seems a risky place to be. Oh, Ellison now crosses the line. Ellison's not finding the... interestingly, James, can I just say there were 3 riders who didn't improve on their Saturday, sorry, on their Friday, no, am I getting muddled up here? Their Saturday times. So the first free practice session, Glenn Irwin, James Ellison, and I think it was Billy McConnell didn't improve yesterday, or rather this morning, on the times they set yesterday morning.
I wasn't ready for much of that.
I just wondered. What I'm saying is that Ellison wasn't able to match yesterday's time today, so perhaps he's struggling a little bit out there right now.
Josh Brooks.
Brooks is down in 8th place. Perhaps the Yamahas aren't fancying Oulton Park just at the moment.
Seems happy though, you know.
Oh, Josh. Yeah. Josh is positively ecstatic by Brooks' standards, isn't he?
Yeah, he's happy.
So as he storms across the line now, he remains in 8th place. 135.12 is his time there. The time he's set so far is a 134.88. So Idden goes back out. I thought he wouldn't surely hang about for too long when his 9th place is under a battering.
I tell you, does need a time as this man, James Ellison.
I know, but that's what I was very badly trying to explain. The fact that he seemed to lose the times that he was able to set during testing last week and yesterday morning seemed to have deserted him.
Yeah. Conditions aren't too dissimilar. I mean, maybe a little bit colder.
So is he? I don't think he's going to make that time at this point. No, he's a 34.5.4. So
it's this lap.
It's going to be this lap.
It's going to be just about borderline when he can get another one in. Dan
Linford, another one who's struggling down in 15th place, and a man with some good results around here in the past. What can the North Yorkshireman do as he slips through into Britain's and clips it left again, and check out once again as we come over the crest of the hill. Let's see how his split goes. Oh, it's plus 0.6, so that's not looking too promising now, because it's got to be well, it is about 0.6 of a second between Leon Haslam and Christian Idden. That's first to 9, so he's got to be blooming quick from here on in. Up Clay Hill. Ooh, it does look fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is fast. It's brilliant though.
And the Honda really working hard as he drops it through Druid. It's going to work even harder when it gets to this lumpy straight here that takes us down towards the final turn. So Idden 134.991 remains that target that's steadfast and defied all comers so far. Linfoot, oh, is he running out of time as he comes out of Deer Leap? He is running out of time. 35's easily, 35.9. He remains in 15th place. Beg your pardon, 16th, because James Ellison and Sylvain Guintoli are ahead of him now. So there's going to be some big names not making it through to that top 9. This is John Hopkins. Hopkins currently in 12th place with the best time of 1:35.09.
Where's Ellison? He's on his lap somewhere, wasn't he? There's Smertz.
Cuba Smertz, he's down in 18th place. 135.85 and 135.320 goes to 17th. So an improvement, but not a big improvement. Now Hopkins time in the last this time he's already said is very, very close to the best he's managed all weekend, it has to be said. So the Moto Rapido Ducati barks over the top of the rise, and the checkered flag goes out. Hopper stays 12th. So it looks as if we're going to be pretty settled. Dixon crosses the line. He's in 7th place. All the guys ahead of him are sat comfortably in the pits. Brooks and Idden still out on track by the looks of it. But we'll definitely be losing Bridewell. This guy, Billy McConnell, unless this lap's going to do it for McConnell. This is McConnell's last time as he weaves his way into Lodge Corner. Oh, Billy, get that power down, why don't you? Still at 0.991 to beat. And he's over the top of it, 35.2. Right behind him comes Sylvain Guintoli, number 50. He remains in 14th place. It looks to me as if Christian Idden might have got away with this. That's amazing. I've never seen anyone hang on to that 9th place with the same time set for so long.
Some big names going out there, Jack.
There certainly are. And Christian in there breathes a large sigh of Derbyshire relief, because he remains in the qualifying group for Q3 alongside Leon Haslam, Shaky Byrne, Glenn Irwin, Luke Mossey, Jason O'Halloran, Peter Hickman, Jake Dixon, Josh Brooks, and outside that top 9 behind Christian Idden's Tyco BMW, the WD-40 Kawasaki of Tommy Bridewell just misses out by a couple of hundredths of a second. Billy McConnell 11th for Quattro Plant. John Hopkins, Moto Rapido in 12th place. Brad Ray, an excellent 13th, ahead of Sylvain Guintoli on the similar Suzuki. The Macams Yamaha of James Ellison struggling for some reason, nearly a second off the pace. Dan Linfoot in 16th. Cuba Smertz 17th. Alistair Seeley 18th. They go out of Q3.
Thanks, Jack. Well, as you said, some guys will be really disappointed not to go through to Q3 there, but one guy will be I'm sure satisfied at the very least with that performance will be Bradley Ray. Brad, I mean, I was just saying to you then, it must come in here to Oulton for the first time on a superbike. First of all, it must just seem like learning a completely new track.
It is, definitely. I mean, we come here last week for the test, the official BSB test, and straight away we knew we had to work hard for our setup and work hard, and not just the setup but the lines. The lines are quite a lot different to the Supersport, and that's what I've been trying to do, trying to learn the best line and the fastest line. And all through the weekend we've been trying different lines, trying different setups, and just trying to make the bike comfy to ride.
And obviously that's made you go quick as well here this week, and you managed to put it together to get through Q1 to Q2. I suppose that was the first goal, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. After Brand's not been able to get into Q2, I mean, yeah, we come in and hope to be sort of top 15, and we went through to Q2 in P9. I thought it's not too bad, but yeah, we ended up 13th at the end, and I can't complain with that. We've been working hard to get the setup right, and I think we're moving in the right direction now.
So 13th on the grid then for race 1 tomorrow. What's the plan right now, or have you had time to come up with one yet?
You don't have a plan, do you? You just go out and do the best you can, and we know we've got good race pace, and we know we've got good pace on old tyres. So if we can try and get a good start and get up in the top 10, we can work from there.
Really impressive stuff. Well done, Brad.
Cheers, mate.
Okay, good man. All right, well, Bradley Ray then definitely one to look out for, not just in the long-term future, but certainly tomorrow as he starts from 13th on the grid. After the break, then, we will find which one of the guys can fight it out for pole position as the top 9 go head-to-head.
Guinness has always been about beer and people, and many of us have entered these gates in the footsteps of our parents and grandparents. 258 years ago, we signed a 9,000-year lease. We have a lot more beer to make.
My chicken bones and my chow mein.
Yep.
Chow mein. Yep. It's called chow mein. Repeat chow mein for God's sake.
Okay.
I said, ooh, I like my chicken bones and my chow mein.
Chow mein.
Chow mein.
Chow mein.
And pork bones.
Pork bones.
Tap the app today at hungryhouse.co.uk.
Look closely. Hidden in every swing, every chip, and every putt is data that can make the difference between winning and losing. The Microsoft Cloud helps the PGA Tour turn countless points of data into insights that transform their business and will enhance the game for players and fans.
The Microsoft Cloud turns information into insight.
If you've been injured in an accident, talk to an experienced lawyer from Slater & Gordon, who will handle your case with skill, care, and commitment. Our lawyers secure substantial awards for victims of accidents at work, road traffic accidents, asbestos-related diseases, and accidents on holiday. For a free consultation, call us today on 0800 557727 or contact us at slatergordon.co.uk. Slater & Gordon, your case is our cause.
Paul Bird doing his best to hide from the cameras there, but he's not getting away because he's got both of his riders. I'm sure he'll be really happy through into this Q3 session. Shane Byrne and Glenn Owen, 2 of the 9 riders set to do battle now for the top 9 positions on the grid, those front 3 rows. Let's see what happens now. Cross back to James and Jack.
I've just had it pointed out to me by the illustrious James Hayden that impressively the top 18 in the last session were separated by less than a second, by 9/10 of a second. That's pretty impressive, pretty tight, pretty competitive, and I think it's probably a degree of competitiveness that has taken the absent Davide Giuliano by surprise on his entrance into British Superbikes. A lot of the names in this cast list would be unfamiliar to the Italian international superstar, but I'll tell you what, it's not just Shaky Byrne that he's got to take notice of in this paddock. There's a lot of fast fellas out there. So here we go. We've got 9 riders left in the shootout for pole position, and indeed the front row top 3. And they've not got a great deal of time to sort themselves out. Just 7.5 minutes to go at this point as Shaky Bird follows Christian in and out on track. The blue and white Tyco BMW, the red and black Be Wiser Ducati. Meanwhile, hardly surprisingly, out front is Josh Brooks, and very wisely behind him, number 60, Peter Hickman. The tall man from Louth, who'll be, of course, both of these guys. Will they be contesting the Isle of Man TT? Is Peter Hickman back at the TT this year?
Hickey's back, and Josh Brooks will be on a Norton.
James, do you think he seems quite happy to be, you know, he is a resourceful rider and very much an all-rounder, so he seems quite happy to be taking a completely different motorcycle onto the road for the challenge of the TT, amongst other things, as well as racing the Anvil Hire Tag Racing Yamaha in British Superbikes.
Yeah, seems to be, yep.
Quite impressive, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but he is impressive. I mean, that's actually the two riders we saw, Josh Brooks and Peter Hickman, in their turn, the fastest ever newcomers. I think Josh Brooks did 127, 128 miles an hour his first year, which is incredible. That's an average lap speed, and Hickey went and beat that and did 129 in his first year, the year after. It's really impressive.
Leon Haslam dives back into Lodge Corner, decides he's got to go for it now. We're right behind him. He's got the RAF.
Yes.
Oh, Jake Dixon.
He's not mug, you know, Dixon.
He's not, is he? The young man from Dover then on the Royal Air Force regular and reserve Kawasaki. I keep thinking it's a BMW. It's not, it's a Kawasaki. They've shifted to Kawasaki. So here he comes. Remember, had that awful accident here last year that finished his season. So to come back and be as impressive as he's been this weekend says a lot for the kid. So Haslam then leading the way. A man who's been victorious in places like Phillip Island in Australia and Valencia in Spain, Kyalami in South Africa. And here he is at a place he's won at, well, 4 of the last 5 races, but first won here on the Airwaves Ducati back in 2005.
Yeah, Leon Haslam's had such a varied and extensive career, from being really young, motocross, to about at the age of 8, in which he broke his femur. Oh, spots of rain there, that's not going to help him. Definitely spots of rain at Hilltop there.
And of course, James, you've got this thing about mental rain and the effect that could have.
Yeah, mental rain is just a term to describe the fact that when there's rain falling on your screen and visor, it puts you off, but it isn't actually degrading the grip levels yet, and you can still crack on. But to tell yourself that you've got to do that, it's really difficult on one of these things. But what is important is to get out there and get a lap in, because if it is going to rain, it's going to get slippy as they go.
And so this is Haslam, tailed by Jake Dixon, and of course ahead of them we've got Josh Brooks has already set a time. Brooks does a 135.5, 135.9 for Hickman in his wake. Now what can Haslam do? As Haslam rockets across the line, he goes quickest, 134.6, surprise, surprise. Irwin benefits behind him, so too Mossy, 134.7, 134.9 for Irwin. They're an instantly provisional front row. Dixon, Brooks, Hickman. Idden goes into 5th place.
Byrne goes quickest.
Byrne goes quickest. 134.016. And he's just knocked in the fastest lap of the whole weekend. And look at that, absolutely rocking with mirth and joy there is team owner Paul Bird. Shaky Bird, what a lap that was.
Yeah,
straight out.
Now the flag's out, the white flag with red diagonal cross means that rain is falling on that part of the circuit, and that will put you off. Whatever you think, you see that flag, you know that the marshals have kind of been out there and seen the track conditions, and it is getting more than, well, it's not wet, but it certainly isn't dry, so that'll definitely put you off, even if grip levels are still the same.
Well, I can't say how impressed I am with that. The 40-year-old from Sittingbourne in Kent has just whooped that Be Wiser Ducati round within a whisker of going under 1:34. Fastest lap of the weekend, and he's put himself on a pole position no one will get near.
Now it'll be interesting to see Brooks down in 8th now. We'll see what this lap's going to be, because I'm fairly convinced, well, if it had been me, but I'm fairly convinced he will have been put off by those flags waving on a couple of points of the track, and that'll affect the lap time. Let's have a look.
Yep, 34.9.
That's still a lap,
yeah,
is
it's
that?
a good one. It's put him head of the second row. Idden's been dropped to 9th place.
And you see, what's happened now is everybody knows they've gone as quick as they're going to go with the prevailing conditions, and they've knocked it off now.
And you could see, look, O'Halloran's frustrated with himself. O'Halloran's ended up on the 3rd row in 7th place. And with Byrne, Haslam, Mossy looking a likely front row. Brooks, Irwin, Dixon. How about Jake Dixon on the 2nd row? And O'Halloran, Hickman, Idden on the 3rd row. Now, James, just remind me, in our position on the left-hand side, is it on the outside into Old Hole Corner?
No, I thought it was inside, but they don't quote me on it. Look on your map. While I'm telling you that O'Halloran was upset because he was on a personal best and it was quite good, and they'd been aware that the track was the spots of rainfall, so he'd been pushing on, and then he got held up. He caught the back of that group that had just done a quick lap. Irwin and Byrne, and that sort of they got in his way a little bit, but you know, unintentionally.
So now O'Halloran's back on the gas, and ahead of him he's got someone who's equally hard on the gas, and that is Christian Idden, who's down in 9th place with a 1:35.1. So once again, this time it's about a 1.1 second span between Byrne on pole position, most probably, and Idden in 9th.
Yeah, not a good place for them to be. Both Idden there on the Tyco bike and O'Halloran, number 22 on the Honda. They need a lap time because O'Halloran is 7th and Idden 9th. So they need this lap, but whether they're going to be able to do it with spots of rain falling.
I was right, pole position on the left-hand side, of course, so that you've got that wide swoop into the first turn at Old Hall. And look at this, O'Halloran definitely quicker. O'Halloran quicker than number 24, the mono-wheeling Tyco BMW, but of course,
I don't think
he's not been able to
quick.
get past.
I think looking at the split times, I don't think this is going to move them up any. Maybe.
And so as they cross the line now, see if Idden can make any headway. No, he doesn't, and O'Halloran doesn't either, so they remain 9th and 7th respectively. Meanwhile, out comes, back into the garage goes Josh Brooks. Brooks now into the pits. He's front of the second row,
yeah,
which will put him on the outside behind Byrne into turn 1. Not a bad place to be.
That'll do.
Lee Bob Jackson there just looks on and ponders what he's going to have to do tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow again we've got slightly less certain weather conditions here in Cheshire. We're not quite sure what the wind's going to bring us tomorrow.
Yeah, this is Christian Idden still patting round, but I don't know what he's going to achieve at this.
Hopefully not upside down. He needs to keep it, if he says the bike doesn't feel like it's really underneath him. On the more spots of rain now as he goes over the hilltop, and as he drops it, plus 0.5 at that point.
The flags have come in. I don't know what he's going to achieve here. The flags have come in, but there's still, I mean, he's still going to expect rain because the flags were out the lap before, so he's still not going to be able to push 100%, I'm sure. And the flags are still out there for rain falling at that point on the track.
So he's a brave boy, isn't he?
Well, I mean, there's no question of that. He's about as brave as he comes. He's Christian, but that's possibly not what you need at this point.
And is that Jake Dixon following him as well on the RAF Reserves Kawasaki? Oh, Christian backing it in. All his supermoto style from his 10 British Championships coming to his resourceful rescue as he storms to the line now. Can Idden improve on that 9th place? The answer is he cannot. And Jake Dixon remains in 6th place in front of him on the grid. So he'll have Dixon just in front of him on the left side of the grid. Leon Haslam still looks as if he wants to be doing something about it. Surely can't better the time he's already set, which is a 1:34.6. Oh, he might do, though, because he's a full 6/10 down on Shaky Byrne.
Yeah, and what you don't want to do is touch a white line or any of the curbings, because any painted surface would be really, really slippy. They're the ones that gather the water first, and like ice.
Look at the way he has to pick his weight up on the balls of his feet, James, as he comes out of Druids and fights this 220 brake horsepower superbike out of Deer Leap. And this is a good lap from Haslam for the condition. 34.2. He got very, very, very close. He may shake his head, but that was extraordinary in those conditions, and he got him within a 0.184 of Shaky Byrne's dry lap.
That was brave.
So Byrne, Haslam, Mossy, Ducati and 2 Kawasaki's on the front row. make for an interesting possibility tomorrow. So Shane Byrne gets the fastest time right at the outset. Leon Haslam gets second fastest right at the death. Luke Mossey is just adrift of them. A couple of tenths clear of Josh Brooks, who goes fourth ahead of Glenn Irwin and Jake Dixon. So there's a Yamaha, Ducati and Kawasaki on the second row, and then Honda, BMW and BMW on row 3, O'Halloran, Hickman and Idden. And while Hickman, Idden and O'Halloran might not be too happy about that, they're going to be a good deal better off than some big names further back, James.
Yeah, there's some big names really far back on the grid.
So that means that it's pole position then to Shaky Byrne, and that puts him in the perfect position to get himself back into the sort of points and sort of results he's going to need to haul himself properly back into championship contention. As it looks rather dark out there, James Whittam, it has to be said. So let's hope that the weather will clear up for us tomorrow, because it's been absolutely beautiful up until about 3/4 of an hour ago. Of course, we still have, as this guy celebrates pole position, Shane Byrne, we still have the whole of the Sprint Supersport race to come after that splendid third qualifying session.
Yeah, you're right, Jack. So hopefully the weather will hold off for that too, although it looks slightly ominous.